A scandal at the World Series of Poker involving the winner of the main event. Doesn't get much juicier than this.
Well, you're a TV producer, Jamie. Could you have scripted this any better?
No, it was amazing.
Because even though the world of professional poker has seen its fair share of drama and controversies over the years, few have captured the attention of the poker community quite like the Jamie Gold backing scandal. This scandal, which unfolded in 2006, not only cast a shadow on the poker world, but also brought into question the ethics and the integrity of the game.
Give you one chance to save yourself.
Boy, he looks agonized.
I don't like you anymore.
So let's get into it. But before we do, please make sure to subscribe to Poker Boom and hit the bell so you never miss a new episode. And please leave us a comment. We're always in there and we would love to interact with you. Jamie Gold, born Jamie Usher, was born on August 25th, 1969 in Kansas City, Missouri. Despite his Midwestern roots, Gold found his true calling in Las Vegas in the high-stakes world of poker.
I'm not calling 20,000 with nothing.
Well, of course you're not. Me neither. I'm not raising with nothing, right?
I know.
His journey into professional poker was a unique one. Unlike many other professional poker players who hone their skills through years of grinding in local card rooms, Gold's entry into the poker scene was marked by a combination of natural talent and strategic connections. His early exposure to the game came from his grandfather, who was a successful gambler and a champion gin rummy player.
When Jamie was a kid, he learned to count watching his grandfather play gin rummy. He'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, king, ace.
At only 16 years old, Gold began his career in the entertainment business as an intern at the J. Michael Bloom and Associates talent agency. He became a talent agent before he was 21 years old, but soon moved to the management side and rep massive clients as big as Jimmy Fallon. His ability to negotiate and manage high-pressure situations would later prove valuable in the world of poker.
You know, I can't talk anymore.
Well, it wouldn't be polite while you're eating.
You call, you got a shot, you lose, it's pretty much over.
Gold's poker journey took a significant turn when he collaborated with two former WSOP main event champions, Johnny Chan and Chris Moneymaker, for an upcoming television project. It was during this collaboration that Chan began to impart his wealth of poker knowledge to Gold, effectively mentoring him in the nuances of the game.
And now Johnny Chan is mentoring our chip leader, Jamie Gold, who has 8-5 of diamonds.
In 2005, Gold's poker journey reached a pivotal point as he immersed himself in regular tournament play. Over the next 12 months, Gold's dominance at the poker table was showcased through 7 more in-the-money finishes in tournaments.
Tell me about the best head now.
I could be slow playing a monster.
Notably, Gold's proximity to Chris Ferguson, the champion of the 2000 WSOP main event, had a significant impact on his poker development. In interviews and conversations, Gold has often lauded Ferguson as one of the few professional players who endorsed and appreciated his unique poker style during the 2006 main event tournament, a tournament that Gold was obviously going to win. But as we all know now, Chris Ferguson might not be the best person to be in your corner, as evidenced by this other video we've done around him. Bluff Magazine conducted a thorough analysis of Gold's winning poker strategies. Their assessment was nothing short of glowing, noting that he continually compelled his fellow tablemates to risk their entire chip stacks.
I call.
I got a set of kings. You got ace-jack, huh?
Ace-jack.
Unbelievable.
And now you're watching the biggest pot in the history of high-stakes poker.
When faced with a re-raise, he exhibited an uncanny ability to figure out whether his opponents held unbeatable hands, leading him to fold, or whether they were attempting to bluff him, prompting him to make audacious all-in moves. His performance at the 2006 World Series of Poker was frankly nothing short of extraordinary.
I said it in our last telecast, Lon, it doesn't matter what 2 cards he plays, Jamie Gold always wins the hand.
He hits the flop again, trips 6s for our chip leader.
In the final hand of the tournament, he held a Queen-9 offsuit and made a pair on the flop of Queen-8-5. He was heads up against Paul Wasco, who held pocket 10s and didn't improve with an ace on the turn and a 4 on the river. Gold would go on to win a record prize of $12 million, one of the largest payouts in poker history.
Jamie Gold has done it!
Oh my God. You're awesome.
You played awesome.
You're awesome.
But despite this initial euphoria surrounding his remarkable victory, the poker community soon found itself embroiled in controversy due to a backing arrangement that came to light after the WSOP main event.
Should those who have a vested financial interest in what takes place here insist on a written, signed agreement? It all depends on who you ask.
Now, a backing arrangement in poker typically involves an investor or backer putting up the buy-in for a tournament on behalf of a player, with the understanding that they will receive a portion of the player's winnings in return. In Gold's case, it was revealed that he had agreed to a backing deal with Crispin Laser, who was a close friend and business associate. Laser staked Gold for the $10,000 buy-in at the main event, and they agreed to split the winnings evenly if Gold secured a cash prize. However, the nature of their arrangement raised eyebrows because Gold failed to disclose this backing deal during the main event. This non-disclosure not only violated the WSOP rules, but also cast doubt on the integrity of Gold's victory. The controversy deepened when Laser, who felt slighted by Gold's actions, filed a lawsuit against him. Laser argued that he was entitled to half of Gold's $12 million prize, leading to a protracted legal battle that played out in the public eye. The legal proceedings unveiled a complex web of allegations and counter-allegations. Gold argued that Laser's backing was conditional, while Laser contended that he had backed Gold in good faith. The case was eventually settled out of court, with Gold agreeing to pay Laser an undisclosed amount.
Oh, it's so great. You know, the first moment we sat down, it was all over. It was a misunderstanding from the first place, so there should have never been one in the first place, so it was all really stupid.
Nevertheless, the scandal left a lasting stain on Gold's reputation and on the poker world as a whole. Following the backing scandal, Jamie Gold's poker career experienced a significant downturn.
A second extension looks like it has been burned by Gold.
Oh my.
Who turns the jack's face up and mucks him.
His reputation took a hit, and many in the community questioned his ethics and his integrity. His tournament results also failed to live up to the standard set by his WSOP main event victory. He struggled to achieve the same level of success and was unable to secure another major tournament title. Since his main event victory in 2006, his greatest cash has come in the 2016 Los Angeles WSOP circuit main event, where he finished runner-up and claimed $139,820. In recent years, Jamie Gold has largely faded from the competitive poker circuit. Instead, he's turned his attention back to the world of entertainment and has been working on a variety of production deals. But the Jamie Gold scandal remains a significant chapter in the history of the game. It serves as a reminder of the importance of transparency, of ethics, and of sportsmanship in the poker world. While Gold's remarkable victory in the 2006 WSOP main event will always be a part of poker lore, the controversy surrounding his backing arrangement have definitely put a permanent tinge of darkness across the entire experience. The poker community has evolved since the scandal, with increased awareness and scrutiny regarding backing agreements and a greater emphasis on fair play. And as for Jamie Gold, his legacy remains a complex one, a mix of extraordinary success and enduring controversy. Prior to winning the main event, Gold joked that he would rather come second place so he wouldn't have to worry about the pressure of being famous. At that point, the thought of being infamous probably never even crossed his mind.
The only thing I can do is play the best poker I can, be sharp, be focused. Hopefully I get a little lucky and maybe I can win.
It's almost time for the World Series of Poker, the annual event that showcases the best, the boldest, and the biggest badasses in the poker world. But the World Series of Poker has also seen its fair share of controversy, and none was more outrageous than Martin Kabrhel's cheating scandal last year at the 2023 WSOP.
Playing with him is unbelievably unpleasant. He's rude. He takes the full 30 seconds every time, and last night playing with him, it felt like something not kosher was going on.
So what happened, and will he be back this year?
I don't want to be the bad boy. Maybe I'm succeeded at this. Sometimes it's it's opinion thing, but I'm not trying to do that on purpose for sure now.
There are few names in the poker world that are as polarizing and as controversial as that of Martin Kabrhel.
What was your problem, please?
My problem is that you're not following the rules.
Which rule?
Martin, you were here at the beginning of play, yes or no?
Yes.
Or as you say, correct.
Born on November 17th, 1982, in the Czech Republic, he was introduced to the game of poker at a young age.
I was born in Czech, but not in the capital. But since my university studies, I was spending like pretty much, my base was pretty much all time in Prague.
It's reported that his family supported his poker dreams as his parents recognized his talent and his dedication to the game early on. From the beginning, Kabrhel was fueled by a desire to test his skills against the best in the game.
Basically, before I play my first hand of poker, I was kind of sure that the game probably will be beatable for me and it will be fun and I will be pretty good at it.
He began competing in local tournaments and honing his craft. His early experience in the poker circuit was marked by a few victories, but more so, a lot of defeat. But through it all, Kabrhel remained undeterred, viewing each setback as an opportunity for growth.
I play a lot of hands, so I have more decisions, more tough decisions. So sometimes I take time.
His first recorded cash came in October 2009 when he won the European Poker Championship and scored a payday of almost 200,000 euros. He will continue to sweep the EPT, winning in Vilamora, Prague, and forgive me if I completely butcher the pronunciation here, Deauville. He mastered the European circuit and won his first World Series of Poker circuit ring in 2016. And the good times didn't stop, because in 2018, he went on another amazing run, racking up victory after victory, culminating with his second bracelet at the 100,000 euro Super High Roller for a career best score of over 2 million euros. Now, this is not to say that his entire career has been smooth sailing. Yes, Martin Kabrhel's poker strategy has been punctuated by a series of impressive victories on the international stage. However, his reputation in the poker community is one more of apprehension and distaste.
I do know, but I don't want to know him. No, I don't like him. He is the most terrible human being. He's not even a human being. Yeah.
Known for his aggressive playing style, non-stop talk, and unpredictable maneuvers, he's earned some respect from his peers while simultaneously angering most of them.
He's a good player. He talks a lot, a little bit annoying sometimes, but I think he's doing the right thing.
And all of this came to a head in 2023 during the World Series of Poker, when Kabrhel found himself embroiled in a cheating scandal that sent shockwaves through the poker world. It all went down during the $250,000 buy-in Super High Roller No Limit Hold'em event. And before we get into the specifics around the allegations, let's get into what the WSOP stated on the incident. While we do not discuss specific security protocols used to monitor players and gaming equipment, the integrity of the game remains paramount, and we can assure fellow patrons that we are taking these allegations very seriously. The allegations stem from poker player Andrew Roble, who made it known on social media that Kabrhel had been cheating in the event, and other events as well. For his part, Kabrhel staunchly denied the allegations and threatened legal action. Now, this was not something that only Roble was privy to either. Dan Smith, who finished 6th place in the event, said directly to Kabrhel as he was leaving,
Good luck, most of you. I hope you get barred.
I will be what?
Hope you get barred.
What does it mean?
Banned.
Why?
Your antics are the worst anyone I've ever seen.
This moment went viral on the internet and became one of the most talked about events of the entire 2023 World Series of Poker.
But I think it's ridiculous that he's allowed to play in the tournament.
Another one of the most explosive moments came when Kabrhel stood up at the table, which caused players at the table to get upset. Dan Smith spoke up again, saying,
The reason you're not allowed to stand is if the cards were marked, you'd have a better angle of it. So as a preventative measure, you can't have that.
Chance Cornuth then chimed in,
They created the rule for you to protect us.
Yeah,
If you have any more questions, let us know.
but the chatter did not stop at the table. On Twitter, Roble tweeted, "How is Martin Kabrhel not banned from the WSOP? He makes any tournament no fun for anyone, and on top of it, I've seen him mark cards in every tournament I've ever played with him." And then he shared a thread with clips that allegedly showed Kabrhel marking his cards. Another poker player, Haley Hanna, chimed in stating, "Martin should be banned. He has a history of repeatedly marking cards to try to cheat, and everyone in the high roller community knows it. Not only that, but Martin makes the experience unpleasant by being rude, yelling in people's ears nonstop, taking full time when he knows he's folding, standing over people to see their stack when he's clearly trying to angle," she continues.
I just wanna live my life and not be attacking by some bullies for no ever reason, because I obviously didn't do anything wrong and I didn't break any rules.
For his part, Kabrhel defended himself, saying, "You can accuse me of controversial manners, bad jokes, uncomfortable play, or whatever stickers you put on my autistic behavior. You can call me a pain in the ass, but calling me a cheater is something completely out of line. I am not a cheater. This is not true. This gossip is damaging me not only as a poker player, but also my business activities and my family. That's why I have decided to take legal action against Andrew Roble, because in such a professional tournament series as WSOP, it is very easy to prove such accusations are pure lies. I just can't believe how easy it's for people to join such accusations just by their personal antipathy towards my person."
Yeah, there are so many accusations which are just really easy untrue that I was banned from somewhere marking the cards.
In the wake of the cheating scandal, Martin Kabrhel's future at the WSOP hangs in the balance. Though he has maintained a relatively low profile in the aftermath of the controversy, speculation abounds regarding his potential return to the annual tournament.
I go to Vegas every second, maybe every third year when I have time, because it's so much time. If I go there, I want to go there for a longer time, and it's not easy for me to go just for 1 month there.
So as of the recording of this video, the 2024 World Series of Poker is about to approach. The question remains, will we see Martin Kabrhel this year? Only time will tell. So whether it's redemption or retirement that awaits him, one thing is certain. Martin Kabrhel will continue to be a villain to the majority of poker players out there until he changes his ways and works to become a hero. But knowing Kabrhel's track record, that seems highly unlikely.
Poker for me is just fun, so I want to have fun at the table, and yeah, most of the times people appreciate it, and I think it's, it should be fun at the poker table for sure.
Is there anything more heinous than what this poker player did?
The Rob Mercer scam situation, the cancer scam.
Lying in poker is one thing, but lying about a terminal illness you can raise money for your main event buy-in is something completely different. So let's dive into the twisted tale of Rob Mercer and his disgusting World Series of Poker lie.
A month later, I was basically diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, and it's been a rough road, man. It's
tending to have cancer to get sympathy and money. Those are the accusations against an amateur poker player from Vallejo. It's left the poker community angry and hurt.
Let's be clear. The world of professional poker is no stranger to stories of high stakes, dramatic bluffs, and moments of intense pressure. However, the saga of Rob Mercer introduced an element of deception that transcended the poker table and shocked the community in a completely unprecedented manner. Rob Mercer was not a household name in the poker community, not by a long shot. His rise to infamy began when he claimed to be suffering from terminal colon cancer. Mercer's story first gained traction on social media platforms, where he shared emotionally charged posts detailing his alleged battle with cancer. He portrayed himself as a passionate poker player whose wish was to compete in the WSOP, a dream he could only realize with the financial help of the community. The poker community, known for its camaraderie and support of fellow players, quickly rallied behind Mercer.
This show here is to raise awareness for a couple people we have in our poker community that are fighting for their life, that have some challenges physically.
His narrative struck a chord with many, leading to an outpouring of support. Fundraising efforts were organized to help make Mercer's dream come true. He received donations valued between $30,000 and $50,000, including a suite at the Bellagio during the World Series of Poker. The sum even included $2,500 from Cody Daniels, a chronically ill poker player from Arizona.
My small intestine ended up rupturing.
Who also participated in the main event through private donations. This whole story began to unravel when inconsistencies in his narrative surfaced. Initially raised by poker influencer Doug Parscale Jr., the issue dominated discussion in the poker world. Skepticism grew as certain details of his story just didn't add up. Some individuals who had personal experience with cancer patients noted discrepancies in Mercer's accounts of his treatments and his symptoms. And despite claiming to be gravely ill, Mercer's social media posts and public appearances showed a person who did not exhibit the typical signs of someone who was battling a terminal illness.
for the first six weeks, I probably laid in bed every night and cried myself to sleep. It was really depressing for me. I went into a deep, dark depression.
Journalists and community members started to dig deeper into Mercer's background. Questions were raised about his medical records and the authenticity of his diagnosis. The breakthrough came when investigative efforts revealed that there was no verifiable evidence to support Mercer's claim of having cancer whatsoever. As the evidence mounted, Mercer's lie was exposed. He had fabricated the entire story to elicit sympathy and financial support from the poker community. The revelation sent shockwaves through the poker world, leaving many who had supported him feeling betrayed and outraged. Cody Daniels, who was initially a supporter, grew suspicious after a brief meeting with Mercer and his mother, feeling Mercer was vague in his responses. After all of the scrutiny, Mercer would go on to deactivate his social media accounts and go into hiding. He faced widespread condemnation from both the poker community and the general public. Many who had donated to his cause demanded refunds and sought ways to reclaim their money. The betrayal felt by the community was palpable, as Mercer had exploited the goodwill and the generosity of people who genuinely wanted to help someone in need. GoFundMe, where Mercer put out his initial campaign, eventually notified Mercer's donors of refunds. A spokesperson for GoFundMe stated, "We have zero tolerance for misuse of our platform and take swift action against those who exploit our community's generosity. This fundraiser was removed for violating our terms. All donors have been refunded, and Rob Mercer is banned from future fundraising. We also cooperate with law enforcement investigations of those accused of wrongdoing." Now, from a legal standpoint, Mercer's actions potentially constituted fraud. Soliciting funds under false pretenses can have serious legal ramifications.
He was acting a little bit erratic. His mood wasn't really that of somebody who was dying of cancer. He was, gambling hard and claiming that he's porn star, like just all kinds of wild stuff.
And there were calls for Mercer to be prosecuted. However, beyond the legal implications, the damage to his reputation was irreparable. He became a pariah in the poker community, with his name synonymous with deceit, and not in the good, bluffing kind of way. The WSOP also faced scrutiny for not thoroughly vetting Mercer's story before allowing him to participate. While the organization expressed sympathy for the victims and condemned Mercer's actions, the incident highlighted the need for better mechanisms to verify such claims in the future. Late last year, Mercer did come out and confess in an interview with the Las Vegas Review-Journal that he did not have terminal stage 4 colon cancer when he initiated his GoFundMe campaign to fund his participation in the main event. "I lied about having colon cancer. I don't have colon cancer. I used that as an excuse for my situation," Mercer admitted. "What I did was wrong. I should not have lied about my condition. It was a spur-of-the-moment response when someone asked me what type of cancer I had. I'm sorry for not being honest. If I had been truthful from the start, things might have turned out differently." He then went on to continue, "I lied. I should have been honest about my situation. I didn't want to get exposed because it looks bad. It does look bad." Now, despite his deceit, Mercer claimed embarrassment over a possible breast cancer diagnosis as his reason for lying about having terminal colon cancer.
The thing I don't get is how is hole cancer less embarrassing than boob cancer?
For his part, Mercer has accepted his banishment from the poker community and has stopped playing altogether due to his deteriorating health, spending most of his time in bed, as he says. His deception has left a lasting impact, making people more skeptical about future donations. "At the end of the day, I lied because I was scared to tell the truth," Mercer concluded, "and I guess I'll have to pay for that."
Because yeah, he scammed all of us, but dude, you're scamming the guy that was actually dying, and he took $3,000 from him. Sorry, $2,500. He gave him a $500 discount.
The Rob Mercer scandal had broader implications for the poker community as well, particularly concerning trust and integrity. You see, poker is a game that inherently involves bluffing and deception at the table, but Mercer's action blurred the line between in-game strategy and moral conduct. His deceit exploited the empathy and kindness of a community that prides itself on supporting its members.
This is a brutal one. This guy used a fake illness to further himself and try and use that sympathy to gain money on the internet.
And at the end of the day, while the poker community is built on principles of competition and strategic deception, Mercer's actions went far beyond acceptable behavior, betraying the trust of those who supported him. His story reminds us that even in a world where bluffing is celebrated, being honest and living with integrity in the real world still reigns supreme.
But everything you do in your past will eventually come back on you.
Men the Master is no stranger to controversy, but even after being a figure in the poker world for close to 40 years, he's still finding ways to anger the community and get embroiled in yet another cheating scandal, this time at the World Series of Poker. So what happened? Let's get into it. In the high-stakes world of professional poker, few names resonate as loudly as Men the Master Nguyen. Renowned for his sharp skills and charismatic presence,
Raise you with his hand, okay? Jack and a 9, baby. And the king.
Men the Master has carved out a legendary, yet infamous status in the poker community. His career has been punctuated by a series of controversies that have cast shadows over his achievements. The most recent controversy, involving allegations of chip manipulation at the World Series of Poker, has reignited debates about ethics and about integrity inside of the game. The controversial hand in question went down on day 2 of event number 20, the $300 Gladiators of Poker No Limit Hold'em. The Gladiators gladiator event attracted over 20,000 entries, the biggest of the 2024 World Series of Poker yet. With 28 players remaining, Brian "Smitty" Smith went all in with Jack 5 suited for $4.5 million in chips. Steve, and I might be pronouncing this incorrectly, but Foudy, then 3-bet to $10 million in chips with Ace King Hearts suited, and then it was Men the Master who 4-bet all in with over $25 million in chips with Ace King Diamond suited. Foudy deliberated and then eventually called. The flop gave nothing to anyone, and then the turn gave Foudy a flush draw. The river revealed a 5, which paired up Smith and allowed him to triple up.
Wow! Bingo! What do you gotta say to people, bro? Bingo bango.
But when Smith began to rack his chips before the table redraw, he noticed that he was missing $4 million in chips. After the big hand with Men and Foudy, he said he should have had $15 million in chips, but he only had 11. He spoke with the floor manager, who went to check the cameras, and the floor manager ruled that both Foudy and Nguyen needed to both surrender $1 million in chips to Smith. But this did not satisfy Smith, as he still felt he had definitely been shorted. The controversy continued as Foudy maintained confidence that he had paid out the correct number of chips in the first place. The matter was escalated but was never fully resolved because Smith ended up busting out in 26th place before they could get any real answers. Poker.org spoke with Smith, who recanted the situation, saying, "I spent about a minute and a half begging and shouting at the floor to please come back to the table. I did go and high-five my rail and do a little leg kick out of excitement, knowing I had 7 outs and knowing about the pay jump. What you don't see is that I knew immediately that my stack was short. It was 10.5 million that the dealer pushed to me, and not another second went by, not another hand. Nothing. The only thing that was said was, 'Congratulations, players, final 27 redraw.' And I said, 'Whoa, hold up. My stack is wrong.' And he goes, 'It's not wrong, Smitty. I just counted it. I was there.' Then how am I short 4.5 million in chips? That's what no one sees, but that's what the players at the table saw. 25 players other than Men the Master all asked to stop the clock. Everyone was behind me, and everyone was against the floor. Video of the hand that's been released does show Men pulling back his chips when Smith won, but the exact allegations remain unconfirmed. When Poker News spoke to Foudy, he said, 'I'm not accusing Men of anything, but he has a history of this sort of thing. I know how much I put in. I was drinking and having a good time, but I know what I put in.' And like Foudy says, to understand the gravity of the controversy, it's essential to look at Men Nguyen's history at the WSOP and his long-standing presence in the poker community.
Yes! Bro wins the hand! Men the Master's disgusted.
A lightning bolt fells Men the Master.
Born in Vietnam in 1954, Nguyen immigrated to the US in 78 and quickly found his niche in the poker world. He earned his nickname, The Master, due to his dominance at the tables and his willingness to mentor other players. His WSOP record is impressive with multiple bracelets to his name and numerous final table appearances. He's known for his aggressive play, which has earned him millions in prize money over the years. However, his career has not been without controversy. One of the earliest controversies surrounding Nguyen dates all the way back to the late 90s and early 2000s, when he was accused of colluding with other Vietnamese players.
I can't beat him. He's too good. I want him to be better than I do. You know, they can beat the Master. Beat the Master, take Master chip, win the tournament. I'm very happy for him.
Collusion in poker involves players conspiring to cheat the system, typically by sharing information about their hands or by manipulating betting patterns to their advantage. While concrete evidence was not produced, the rumors persisted, casting a shadow over his reputation. Another significant allegation against Nguyen is related to chip dumping, a practice where a player deliberately loses chips to another player, usually a friend or an accomplice, to help them advance in a tournament. In one notable incident, Nguyen was accused of dumping chips to one of his proteges, a move that sparked outrage and led to calls for stricter regulations and monitoring in poker tournaments. His behavior at the poker table has also been a point of contention. Known for a fiery temper, he's been involved in several heated exchanges with other players and tournament officials.
Motor mouth, a bat mouth.
Whole table should get duct tape for Christmas.
What's going on, bro?
What is that?
Give me some love.
Love?
Hey, what's going on, man?
If I love someone, I love better looking guy than you.
And while some attribute this to a competitive spirit, others see it as a lack of sportsmanship and professionalism, especially when he's been drinking.
You have too much head start.
I'm sorry.
We've done a full video breaking down Men the Master, so if you want to learn more about the polarizing figure, make sure to check out that video. The link is in the description. And back to the story at hand, Poker News did end up catching up with Men around the shorted pot controversy, and he denied shorting the pot, saying he put the necessary amount in the pot, ultimately saying,
I'm sorry if people think that I took the money back in intentionally. It's not, okay? I'm Men the Master. I'm sorry that what happened there, but
these allegations are more damaging than they would be otherwise given Nguyen's history. In a game where trust and integrity are important, such actions can erode confidence in the fairness of the competition. For the World Series of Poker, ensuring the credibility of their tournament is crucial, and incidents like this can tarnish the event's reputation. As the investigation into the shorted chips incident unfolds, the poker community will be watching closely. The outcome will not only determine Nguyen's fate, but will also send a clear message about the importance of integrity in the game. Because in a world where fortunes change in a single hand, maintaining the trust of players and fans alike is crucial for the continued success of professional poker. The Player of the Year. It's an honor most poker players strive for at the World Series of Poker. But back in 2019, the WSOP had its own La La Land moonlight moment.
We lost, by the way, but you know.
Guys, I'm sorry. No, there's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
When Daniel Negreanu was wrongfully given the prestigious award. So what happened? And what was the fallout? The 2019 Player of the Year award at the World Series of Poker was marred by a significant controversy that drew attention from the entire poker community. The controversy involved two prominent poker players, Daniel Negreanu and Robert Campbell. Their battle for the title became a story of unexpected twists, statistical scrutiny, and ultimately, at the end of the day, sportsmanship. Negreanu, who was often referred to as Kid Poker,
"How are you gonna get my chips? Oh yeah, you can't. The only way you can do it, yo, is to pick up 20% and find a way to win it. That's it. And you're not gonna do it. Super high rollable. I'm coming for you."
is one of the most recognizable and successful figures in the world of poker. With 6 WSOP bracelets, multiple World Poker Tour titles, and over $50 million in live tournament earnings, Negreanu's reputation as a top-tier player is well established. Known for his engaging personality, his masterful skills, and his ability to read his opponents, Negreanu has long been a fan favorite. On the other hand, we have Robert Campbell. While not nearly as globally renowned as Negreanu, he's a formidable player in his own right. An Australian pro from Melbourne, Campbell was formerly a professional esports player, and he was at one point the top-ranked Pokemon player in the world. He carved out a significant presence in the poker world through consistent performances and a deep understanding of mixed games. His quiet demeanor and his focused approach earned him respect among his peers and fans alike. Now, the 2019 WSOP saw both Negreanu and Campbell putting in remarkable performances across various events. Campbell won 2 bracelets during the series, the $1,500 limit 2-7 lowball triple draw, and the $10,000 7-card stud high-low 8 or better championship. In addition to the bracelets, he ended up finishing the 2019 WSOP with 5 final tables, 13 cashes, and more than $750,000 in earnings. Negreanu, always a strong contender, also had a noteworthy series with several deep runs and final table appearances. His consistent performances across multiple events kept him in close contention for the Player of the Year race. And as the series drew to a close, Negreanu appeared to have secured his coveted title, marking his 3rd Player of the Year win following victories in 2004 and 2013. Initially, the WSOP officially awarded the 2019 title to Negreanu. The announcement was met with excitement from his fan base and the poker community. However, the celebration was short-lived as discrepancies in the points calculations emerged. It was discovered by poker journalist and statistician Alex Zelensky that there were errors in the points awarded to Negreanu. Specifically, Negreanu had been mistakenly credited with a cash in the $1,000 online no-limit Hold'em Championship event, where the supposed 36th place finish would have generated him 213.1 Player of the Year points. This result was deemed a clerical critical error, as Negreanu did not finish in the money in that tournament. Olenski's meticulous analysis and cross-referencing of event results with the point standings highlighted these inaccuracies, prompting further investigation by the WSOP. Upon review, the WSOP confirmed the error and recalculated the standings. The corrected points tally revealed that Robert Campbell and not Danny Negreanu was the rightful winner of the 2019 WSOP Player of the Year title. This correction catapulted Campbell to the top of the leaderboard, making him the first Australian to win the prestigious award.
And to all those POI haters out there who've said, look, there's no prize, look at this cake. I mean, it's no wonder Sean D wanted to win so badly.
The revelation of the error and the subsequent correction elicited reactions from both Negreanu and from Campbell. Negreanu, known for his candidness, addressed the situation with grace. In a statement, he said, "I'm genuinely happy for Robert. He's a good guy and he's deserving. Obviously, my strategy would have been different had I known where I actually stood, but such is life. I have no regrets. I set out to achieve a goal and I focus on the journey. That journey got me to where I set my goal. Unfortunately, the points miscalculation means no POI for me."
I see Robert Campbell over there, and he's not doing it. And I say to Robert, I don't want to win like that. I was like, Robert, you should drop a stack in this thing too so you can win. In the interest of fairness and sportsmanship. And in the vlog, I say, I wouldn't want to win like that.
Campbell, on the other hand, responded with humility and with appreciation. In interviews, he expressed his gratitude for the recognition and praised Negreanu for his sportsmanship. Campbell highlighted the collaborative spirit within the poker community, acknowledging the efforts of everyone involved in correcting the error and ensuring fairness. Now, for a little background, the WSOP Player of the Year award was established back in 2004 and recognizes the most successful player of the series based on a point system that considers deep runs, final tables, and overall consistency across events. The award not only celebrates individual excellence, but also underscores the competitive spirit and skill required to excel in multiple formats of poker. Winning the Player of the Year award is a significant achievement in the poker world. It reflects a player's versatility, their endurance, and their ability to perform at the highest level over an extended period. Interestingly enough, Phil Hellmuth holds the record for the most WSOP gold bracelets, yet he has never secured the WSOP Player of the Year title. Hellmuth has narrowly missed the honor 4 times, finishing second in 2006, 2011, 2012, and 2021. To date, no other player has been the runner-up more than once in the race. In the history of the WSOP, only one player has managed to win both the main event and the Player of the Year award in the same year. That title goes to Greg Mercer, who achieved this remarkable feat back in 2012. Out of the 18 occasions where a WSOP Player of the Year has been named, the winner has won multiple gold bracelets in a single year 12 times. Danny Negreanu is the sole player to have won the WSOP Player of the Year award more than once, as mentioned, clinching it in 2004 and 2013. Notably, in 2004, he received a brand new Toyota Tundra truck as part of his award. From 2004 to 2023, there have been 27 players who won 2 gold bracelets in a single year, but did not win the WSOP Player of the Year title that same year. But let's get back to the matter at hand. The 2019 WSOP Player of the Year controversy reminds us of the complexities and the challenges inherent in maintaining fairness and accuracy in competitive environments. Despite the initial error, the resolution of the controversy ultimately reinforced the importance of transparency and of meticulousness in awarding such a prestigious title. And the WSOP is lucky it was 2 players like Negreanu and Campbell that this error happened to, because God knows what would have happened if this happened to one of the more colorful characters in the poker world.
Punishing me, pops me on the turn with a diamond draw and an ace. There's like 1 ace left. How does he get awarded for that bull play?
And with 2 pair, Chris Moneymaker, a statistical improbability to win this title at the outset, is now closing in on making it an incredible reality.
Poker. It's a game that's been played for centuries. And yet, despite its long history, poker was still a very insular game until its popularity exploded in the early 2000s. Thanks in large part to an unassuming man, unironically named Chris Moneymaker.
Won the World Series of Poker.
Whee!
His rags to riches story not only made him an overnight celebrity, but transformed the game of poker and how it was perceived by the general public.
Suddenly, everybody in the country, whether they live close to a casino or not, said, hey, I didn't even know poker was available online.
Chris Moneymaker's ascent to poker fame began in 2003 when he entered the World Series of Poker main event. This tournament, which is held annually in Las Vegas, is considered the most prestigious event in the poker world. It does not get any bigger than this.
This could be the last card of the 2003 World Series of Poker.
It's a 5.
At the time, Moneymaker was a 27-year-old accountant from Tennessee with no professional poker experience. He qualified for the event through an $86 satellite tournament on PokerStars, a buy-in worth $10,000. He then headed to Sin City to compete against some of the best poker players in the world.
We're going to Vegas, Mike. Vegas!
However, his journey through the main event was anything but smooth sailing.
You know, it's up to you, right?
Yeah.
Didn't even know I had a hand. I'm sorry.
Or is
He had to overcome many challenges. He had a series of bad beats. He had a dwindling chip stack. Things were not going his way. But Moneymaker kept his cool. He persevered. He gradually built his stack up, and against all odds, he made it to the final table of the tournament. Now, at the final table, Moneymaker was up against some of the biggest names in poker. We've got David Lester, Dan Harrington, Young Pak, and of course, Sami Farha. Farha was and is a very well-known professional poker player from Lebanon, known for always having a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, just like this.
Go home. It's over. Go home. Let me think.
Despite being the underdog, Moneymaker played aggressively, he took risks, and he made bold moves that paid off in a big way. In the final hand of the tournament, Moneymaker was dealt 5-4 offsuit, a hand that most players would have folded without hesitation. Sami Farha landed a Jack-10 offsuit, raised, and got a quick call from Moneymaker. When the flop came, they each got a piece, with Sami Farha landing top pair with the Jack, and Moneymaker hitting 2 pair with his 5-4. Moneymaker checked. Farha bet $175,000, to which Moneymaker raised to $300,000, and quickly got an all-in call from Farha.
Okay, I'll go all in. Let's go. I'll
call. Sam Farha goes all in, and Chris Moneymaker's going to call it.
Moneymaker called, hitting a full boat on the river, and won the tournament. Moneymaker's win was a huge upset, not only because he was an unknown amateur player, but because he had qualified for the main event through an online satellite tournament, something that had never been done before. His win inspired a new generation of poker players and helped to popularize the game, leading to a boom in online poker and the creation of many new poker tournaments around the world. His unexpected victory in the main event earned him a staggering, at the time, $2.5 million. It sent shockwaves through the poker community and marked the beginning of what would later be called the Moneymaker effect. Moneymaker's victory demonstrated that poker was no longer just a game for seasoned professionals. His success showed that anyone with a basic understanding of the game could compete at the highest level and potentially win life-changing sums of money. The media coverage of Moneymaker's story created a surge in interest in poker, with millions of people around the world flocking to online poker sites and local card rooms, all trying to try their luck and end up like Moneymaker. Now, before Moneymaker's win, the idea of entering a high-stakes poker tournament might have seemed out of reach for the average person. However, his story proved that with the perfect combination of skill, of luck, of determination, anyone could reach poker stardom. Now, this shift in perception made the game more accessible and more appealing to a wider audience, drawing in players who may have never even considered playing poker before. Online poker sites played a significant role in the increased accessibility as well. These platforms allowed people to learn the game, to practice their skills, and qualify for major events through satellite tournaments, just as Moneymaker had done. The growth of online poker provided an avenue for players to hone their skills in a low-pressure environment without the intimidation of playing against seasoned professionals in a live setting. Moneymaker's journey from an unknown amateur to a multimillionaire overnight captured the imagination of aspiring poker players everywhere. His success fueled dreams of winning big money, making it seem not only possible, but almost probable. And this allure of instant wealth attracted countless new players to the game, with many hoping to replicate Moneymaker's extraordinary success. And of course, as more people began playing poker, the prize pools for major tournaments grew exponentially. The WSOP main event, for example, saw its prize pool increase from $7.8 million in 2003 to over $24 million in 2006. This growth in prize money only served to further stoke the dreams of players, creating a virtuous cycle that continued to attract new players to the game. The poker boom brought on by the Moneymaker effect also led to the emergence of poker as a form of mainstream entertainment. Television networks began airing poker tournaments complete with expert commentary and whole card cameras that allowed viewers to see the players' hidden cards. This level of exposure turned previously unknown poker players into overnight celebrities, their faces becoming as recognizable as those of professional athletes or Hollywood stars. Moneymaker himself became an instant celebrity, with his face gracing the covers of magazines and his story inspiring a new generation of poker enthusiasts. Other poker players such as Phil Ivey, Daniel Negreanu, and Phil Lack also gained fame and recognition as a result of the poker boom. These players all of a sudden became household names, further adding to the mystique and appeal of the game. The rise of poker celebrities created new opportunities for players, such as sponsorship deals, book deals, appearances on TV shows. For the first time, professional poker players were seen as more than just gamblers. They were celebrities. And this shift in perception further legitimized poker as a career and a viable means to achieve fame and fortune. The Moneymaker effect had a far-reaching impact for the poker industry. The increased interest in the game led to the creation of numerous poker-related businesses, poker training websites, poker magazines, poker merchandise. The game became more global, with the World Series of Poker and other major tournaments expanding their presence to Europe, Asia, and other regions. The poker boom created a more diverse player base, and poker rooms and online poker sites began to attract a broader demographic. There were more women, there were younger players entering the game, and this diversity helped to break down the stereotype of poker as a game played exclusively by middle-aged men in smoke-filled rooms.
4 jacks. You owe me 15 grand, pal.
But of course, with all these upsides, the Moneymaker effect also had its downsides. The increased popularity of poker led to a more competitive environment, as players became more skilled and the level of play at major tournaments rose significantly. The game also faced regulatory challenges, particularly in the US, where online poker was effectively banned in 2011.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry with millions of participants, and on Friday, it was shut down by federal agents.
Yet, despite these setbacks, the impact of Chris Moneymaker's victory continues to resonate in the poker world. Moneymaker's unexpected victory at the 2003 World Series of Poker main event revolutionized the game of poker. Period. His rags to riches story made poker more accessible to non-professionals, inspiring millions of people to try their hand at the game. The Moneymaker effect changed the perception of poker, turning it into a form of mainstream entertainment and creating a new generation of poker celebrities. And although the poker landscape has evolved since Moneymaker's win, his impact on the game and the industry remains undeniable. Chris Moneymaker will forever be remembered as the man who transformed poker and brought it to the masses. There's no doubt that this,
and there it is. Helmuth wins the championship, so Phil gets the money,
is the craziest, most jaw-dropping moment in the history of poker. But there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. We'll get into it later. The World Series of Poker is the pinnacle event in the poker world and has provided us with an insane amount of memorable moments over its 50-year history.
Espen turns over the boat and has planted the Norwegian flag at this main event for the very first time.
From historic victories to remarkable comebacks, these moments have shaped the legacy of the game and left a lasting impact on fans and players alike. As we delve into the top 8 most memorable moments at the World Series of Poker, we'll witness the triumphs of poker legends and some of the most extraordinary events that have ever unfolded on the felt. But before we do that, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Poker Boom. This is a brand new channel all around poker, and I appreciate the support. All right, let's do this.
It's a 5!
At number 8, we gotta go with the unforgettable moment when an average Joe turned the poker world upside down. Now, we covered this in our first video on the channel, so if you want to dive deeper, go check it out. Link is in the description below. In 2003, Chris Moneymaker, an accountant by profession, entered the World Series of Poker after winning a qualifier on an online poker site with a mere $86 entry fee. Initially considered an underdog among seasoned professionals, Moneymaker defied all expectations and emerged victorious in the main event, claiming a staggering $2.5 million prize.
And it's not getting yet. I see this money and it's not real yet. So probably tomorrow morning when I wake up, it'll hit home and I'll probably go out and dance or something. I don't know what I'll do.
His remarkable journey captured the imagination of millions and introduced a new generation of poker enthusiasts to the possibilities that lay within the game. This watershed moment was further amplified by ESPN's expanded coverage of the event, including the invention of the whole card camera, which provided viewers with unprecedented access to the players' hidden cards. Moneymaker's win proved that anyone, regardless of their background or experience, could achieve greatness at the World Series of Poker.
You're off. You played awesome. You're off. Jamie Gold makes believers of us all.
Another amateur, another improbable winner.
Moving on to number 7, we're shooting forward to 2006, which marked the highest point of the poker boom when a staggering 8,773 players bought in for $10,000 each, which led to a mind-blowing prize pool of over $82 million. That means when Jamie Gold won the final hand of the main event with a Queen-9 offsuit against Paul Waska's pocket tens,
Jamie Gold has done it!
he made off with the largest tourney pot ever, a massive $12 million.
I mean, wow, is all I can say. Woo! She laid down. That's unbelievable.
Coming in at number 6, we have Annette Oberstad's groundbreaking achievement as the youngest bracelet winner in 2007. Her remarkable feat was an unexpected surprise. Starting her poker journey at the age of just 15 through online free roll tournaments, Oberstad showcased her exceptional skills by outlasting 350 players in the inaugural World Series of Poker Europe. Her victory, just one day before her 19th birthday, solidified her place among the top World Series of Poker moments.
Deuce. Stewie wins the tournament.
Moving on to number 5, we find Stu Unger's triumphant return to the World Series of Poker in 1997. Once regarded as one of the best players, Unger had fallen on hard times due to drug addiction. However, a friend's intervention allowed him to enter the 1997 World Series of Poker as the final participant. Despite his initial struggles, Unger mounted a spectacular comeback, dominating the competition to secure the most chips and a spot at the final table. Unger defied the odds and captured his 3rd World Series of Poker main event title, solidifying his place in poker history. This remarkable victory not only showcased Unger's undeniable talent, but also served as an inspiring testament to his ability to overcome personal challenges.
5th Street is an ace, and Johnny Chan wins with aces and jacks, eliminating Bob Schiavone, who a short while ago had taken the lead.
At 4, we witnessed Johnny Chan's back-to-back triumphs in 1988. Known as one of the greatest poker players of all time, Chan's dominance was on full display during the 80s.
What does it feel like?
It feels like a miracle.
While his initial victory in '87 was impressive, it was his performance the following year that etched his name into World Series of Poker history. Facing off against the formidable Eric Seidel, Chan showcased his mastery of the game, skillfully luring Seidel into an all-in situation where he held the superior hand. This memorable moment has even transcended the poker world, finding its place in the popular 1998 movie Rounders.
In the Poker World Series, you play for 10 straight hours, take a break for 3 to 10 hours, then resume. Some players are well noted for their stamina to go for 48 hours at a crack.
Number 3 commemorates the inaugural World Series of Poker in 1970, a significant milestone in the history of the game. Benny Binion, the visionary casino owner, gathered the top poker players of the time to determine the best among them. Though the format differed from the current freeze-out structure, the event marked the birth of the World Series of Poker. The players themselves voted for the winner, and Johnny Moss emerged as the first champion.
Well, 200,000 on the table now, 210,000 on the table now. They'll all be on one table a little later, all of it.
Moss's subsequent victories in 1971 and 1974 validate his inaugural win as one of the greatest moments in World Series of Poker history.
He got it! He got it! He got it! He's a shocked, amazed man. He is the world champion of poker, Jack Strauss, with that 10 on 5th Street.
In the runner-up position is the origin of the famous poker adage, "All you need is a chip and a chair." This iconic phrase owes its existence to Jack Strauss and his incredible comeback in the 1982 World Series of Poker main event. Strauss, seemingly on the verge of elimination, pushed all his chips into the center, unaware that he had one chip hiding under a napkin. The serendipitous discovery allowed him to stay in the game and ultimately triumph, demonstrating the resilience and spirit that has become synonymous with the World Series of Poker.
Bill Hellmuth Jr. at 24 years of age becomes the youngest player ever to win the World Series of Poker.
Finally, the top of our list is reserved for a changing of the guard. In 1989, when Phil Hellmuth, then a relatively unknown player, halted Johnny Chan's bid for a 3rd straight title. Despite the odds stacked against him, Hellmuth emerged victorious in an intense final hand against Chan, becoming the youngest World Series of Poker winner at the age of just 24. This historic victory marked the beginning of Hellmuth's illustrious career, which would go on to include a record-setting 16 World Series of Poker bracelets. The World Series of Poker has left an indelible mark on the poker landscape, and these 8 moments stand out as the most memorable in its storied history. From Annette Oberstad's groundbreaking achievement as the youngest bracelet winner to Chris Moneymaker's astonishing triumph as an average player, each moment encapsulates the spirit of competition, the thrill of victory, and the enduring allure of the World Series of Poker. As the event continues to evolve and new stars emerge, we eagerly anticipate the creation of even more extraordinary moments that will captivate and inspire poker enthusiasts for generations to come.
Miracle on 4th Street for Phil Ivey, who now has the full house and the better hand.
This is the hand. Right here, this is the hand that changed everything for Phil Ivey.
Oh, amazing. Phil Ivey loses with a full house to a better full house of Chris Moneymaker.
In the realm of poker, a single turn of events can shape the course of history, leaving an indelible mark on the minds of countless amateurs and intrigued spectators. Such was the case when an unexpected triumph transformed an accountant from Tennessee into a figure of inspiration overnight, igniting a wave of belief among aspiring players worldwide. It was a pivotal moment that would forever be etched in the annals of the game. But amidst the fervor surrounding this transformative incident, a forgotten narrative emerged, one that belonged to a seasoned professional you might know as Phil Ivey.
This tournament is a true test of a poker player's skill. I'm looking forward to winning.
Phil Ivey was the embodiment of poker success, and he was anticipated to emerge victorious in the very tournament where Moneymaker took it all.
Be forewarned, when he accumulates chips, he's going to become the most dangerous player, maybe the favorite here if he can get a lot more chips.
With an impressive track record comprising 4 WSOP gold bracelets, the prodigious 26-year-old found himself among the final 10 players, poised to seize yet another triumph. Confidence emanated from him, and the prospect of glory seemed within reach. Yet, fate had other plans. Ivey found himself dealt pocket nines, and captivated by the tantalizing potential of the Queen-6 Queen board, he decided to stay in the hand. Serendipity favored him as the turn revealed the 9, bestowing upon him a winning hand.
Here comes a turn, and it's a 9, and that gives Phil Ivey a full house.
Miracle on 4th Street.
Meanwhile, Moneymaker clutched ace-queen and refused to fold. With all the chips at stake, Ivey held an 83% equity advantage, inching closer to securing his spot at the coveted final table. But then the river dealt a crushing blow, a fateful ace that rendered Ivey's full house obsolete.
It's an ace!
An incredible knockout blow.
The dream slipped through his fingers, an overwhelming sense of defeat engulfed him. It was as if a gust of wind had been forcibly expelled from his very being. Poker history underwent a seismic shift, transforming the landscape forever. Many argue that this twist of fate ultimately propelled the game to unprecedented heights, spurring its remarkable growth over the years. However, for Ivey, that haunting moment remains an indelible scar, a constant reminder of the day when destiny eluded his grasp. Already hailed as the chosen one, and widely regarded as the preeminent all-rounder in poker at such a young age.
He can have any 2 cards at any time, and he will play them like they're aces. Well, that puts people under a tremendous amount of pressure. It's very hard to play against Phil.
This was meant to be his defining moment. Amidst the heartache, Ivey resolved to conceal his disappointment from the world, silently vowing not to reveal the inner turmoil that consumed him. It was a brutal blow, one that words fail to capture adequately. But such is the nature of poker, a game that weaves together triumph and heartbreak, catapulting unknown contenders to dizzying heights while inflicting stinging blows upon seasoned professionals. Within its hallowed halls, the line between victory and defeat is often razor thin, leaving a profound impact on the lives of those who dare to participate. For Phil Ivey, that pivotal moment forever resides in his consciousness, an indomitable reminder of the fleeting nature of success and the inescapable grip of chance that defines the game. And thus the story continues to unfold, with each hand played and each turn of the cards holding the promise of both redemption and despair. It is within this ceaseless cycle of hope and adversity that the allure of poker resides, a testament to the enduring human spirit and an unyielding testament to the power of the game itself. So let's talk about Phil Ivey a little more and understand who he is.
A great poker player has to have really good instincts.
3,500.
He has to be able to feel out his opponent, try and outguess him, figure out what he's thinking.
First of all, he's widely regarded as one of the greatest poker players of all time. From his humble beginnings to his meteoric rise, his journey is one of resilience, of strategic brilliance, and of unwavering determination. Born on February 1st, 1977 in Riverside, California, Ivey grew up in a very modest household. He was introduced to poker by his grandfather and displayed an innate talent for the game from a young age. Even as a child, he would observe and learn from his family's home games, absorbing the nuances of poker strategy. His transition from amateur enthusiast to professional player began during his teenage years. He would travel to nearby casinos and card rooms, honing his skills and competing against experienced opponents. His natural aptitude for the game, coupled with his exceptional mathematical abilities and astute reading of opponents, set him apart from his peers. His rise to prominence in the poker world was swift, and it was awe-inspiring. He made his breakthrough in 2000 when he won a pot limit Omaha event, becoming the first person to defeat Amarillo Slim heads up at a World Series of Poker final table, and earning him his first career bracelet. Ivey's success continued to escalate over the next decade, with his remarkable performance in high-stakes cash games and tournaments earning him a place in the pantheon of poker's elite and a spot in the Poker Hall of Fame that he was elected to in 2017. With 10 World Series of Poker bracelets, Ivey is currently tied with poker greats like Doyle Brunson and Johnny Chan for the second most all-time behind Phil Hellmuth. Phil Ivey's reputation as the best poker player of all time is based on a combination of factors. Firstly, his unparalleled ability to read opponents and exploit their weaknesses is legendary. Ivey possesses an uncanny knack for deciphering subtle tells and making calculated decisions based on his opponent's behavior.
Sometimes it's right to be aggressive. Sometimes it's right to sit back and wait patiently. Whatever the players are doing, I just react to it.
Secondly, his mathematical acumen enables him to navigate complex situations with precision, making optimal decisions in high-pressure scenarios. And finally, his adaptability across various poker formats and his consistent success against the toughest competition solidify his claim to greatness. Phil Ivey's impact on the poker world extends beyond his record-breaking achievements. His success has inspired a new generation of players, many of whom emulate his analytical approach to the game. Ivey's iconic moments, such as his daring bluffs and his mind-boggling reads, continue to captivate fans and elevate the excitement surrounding poker. His strategic insights and his poker philosophy have influenced the evolution of the game, with players adopting his techniques and incorporating them into their own strategies. Phil Ivey's journey from a young enthusiast to the pinnacle of poker represents an extraordinary achievement. His exceptional skills, his relentless work ethic, and his unwavering focus have firmly established his legacy as the best to ever play the game. His impact will continue to shape the future of poker, inspiring generations to come. And yet most of us would never have any idea about who he is if it wasn't for this one hand that changed everything for Phil Ivey, and in turn, changed everything for the world of poker. Everybody talks about this.
I'll go all in. Let's go. Let's do number 2.
I'll call. Sam Farhall goes all in, and Chris Moneymaker's going to call it.
As the biggest miracle win in the history of the World Series of Poker. But in reality, just 4 years later in 2007, Jerry Yang would do the impossible and arguably showcase an even more improbable victory that no one seems to talk about anymore. In the world of professional poker, stories of triumph and improbable victories abound. One such story is that of Jerry Yang, a man whose life took an incredible turn when he went from a relative poker nobody to winning the World Series of Poker.
Now Jerry Yang has won an amazing $8.25 million and the ultimate title in poker.
Jerry Yang's story begins in the war-torn country of Laos. Born in 1967, in the midst of the Vietnam War, he and his family faced unimaginable hardships and uncertainty. The Yang family sought refuge in the U.S., arriving as refugees in the 1980s, in the hopes of building a better life.
The day you came to America from a refugee camp in Thailand, you've said was the greatest day of your life. How does this feel?
That was the happiest day of my life.
Jerry's family would eventually end up settling in Temecula, a city in the Riverside County area of California. Jerry grew up in a modest, close-knit Hmong community. He was one of 6 children in the Yang family, and like many immigrant families, they faced numerous challenges. The values of hard work, resilience, and unity instilled by his parents played a pivotal role in shaping his character. These values would later prove essential in his journey to becoming a poker champion. However, poker was far from Jerry's mind when he was growing up. His early life was dedicated to helping his family and the Hmong community thrive in their new home. However, as he entered adulthood, the allure of poker found its way into his life.
I'm all in.
And Yang comes over the top. Wow.
My goodness, Lee Childs wasn't even done shoving his $3 million in yet, and Jerry Yang goes all in?
He began playing casually in 2005, only 2 years before he would go on to win the main event, mostly at local home games and in small tournaments. Unlike many of his future opponents on the poker circuit, Yang was a relative amateur in the world of high-stakes poker, but his amateur status did not deter him from dreaming big. Jerry Yang's transformation from an amateur player to a WSOP champion is a remarkable chapter in the history of poker.
He checks it again.
Yang always very deliberate.
$4 million.
Wow.
It all started when he participated in a $225 satellite tournament at his home casino, Pechanga Resort and Casino, in Temecula, which secured him a seat at the 2007 WSOP main event. Now, for those that don't know, a satellite is a lower-cost poker tournament that offers the winners a golden ticket to the main event. And it was in this particular satellite that Yang's life took a dramatic turn. Now, prior to this satellite, Yang only had 4 cashes in some small-time local events, and nothing could prepare him for what was about to come.
So the 2 biggest stacks treading lightly around each other.
Yang and Rami now to the flop. And there's an ace for Jerry Yang to take the lead.
The 2007 WSOP was a remarkable event for several reasons. For starters, it featured one of the largest fields in the history of the tournament, with a staggering 6,358 players from around the world vying for the title. Secondly, there was a prize pool of over $159 million, with over $59 million set for the main event alone, with the first place winner set to take home a substantial portion. Jerry Yang's performance during the tournament was truly impressive.
Rami has to have a king.
King, baby. King.
River card. It's a deuce!
He exhibited a unique blend of skills, of luck, a calm demeanor, which he attributed to his Hmong background and the values instilled in him by his family. Despite being an underdog in the eyes of many, he steadily navigated through the massive field, avoiding elimination and chipping up along the way.
In the name of Jesus Christ, come on, let me win this one.
River card now is a jack!
Yes!
Jerry does it again!
Reaching the final table of the WSOP main event is a dream that many poker players harbor, but for Jerry Yang, it became a reality. At the final table, he faced formidable opponents like Alex Kravchenko and Lee Childs, among others, each with a wealth of experience and accomplishments in the poker world. He had the 8th largest chip stack when the final table started, but he quickly took the lead and never relinquished it. It all led up to the climactic moment when he faced Tuan Lam in a heads-up battle for the championship.
Canadian Tuan Lam and American Jerry Yang are heads up for $8.25 million and the coveted World Championship bracelet.
In the final hand, Yang held pocket 8s against Lam's ace-queen suited. He ended up hitting a 9-high straight in the river after Lam had caught a queen on the flop of a board of 5 of spades, queen of clubs, 9 of clubs, 7 of diamonds, 6 of hearts.
Jerry Yang is the 2007 World Champion!
After a 12-hour final table, Yang won $8,250,000 for his victory and the coveted gold bracelet. He defied the odds, and his win resonated with many in the poker community, who saw it as a reminder that anyone, regardless of their background, regardless of their experience, could achieve greatness in the game of poker.
My winning today also means a lot to me because I know that I can use this money to do a lot of good for other people out there.
Regarding his win, he said, "I study my opponents very carefully, and when I sensed some weakness, I took a chance. Even if I had nothing, I decided to raise, re-raise, push all in, or make a call. The only way that I could win this tournament was by being aggressive from the very beginning, and that's exactly what I did. And thank God I was also able to pick up some good cards at the same time." In the years following his WSOP triumph, Jerry Yang has been humble about his incredible win. He often attributes his success to the unwavering support of his family, to his faith, and to the strength of his Hmong heritage, and of course his own determination. He's become an inspiration not just to poker players, but to anyone striving to overcome adversity and achieve their dreams.
Perhaps doing some more missionary work. I think that's the very least thing that I can do. They just want something to make their lives a little bit brighter. I'm glad that I can be a part of that.
A true believer in miracles, Jerry Yang said, "I asked God to help me win. I told him that I could make my family and others that are less fortunate happy with the money." And he did. He pledged to donate 10% of his winnings to 3 charities: the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Feed the Children, and the Ronald McDonald House, as well as his alma mater, Loma Linda University. Today, Jerry Yang continues to be involved in philanthropic work while maintaining a low-profile poker presence, competing in small tournaments here and there, but nothing noteworthy. His journey from the war-torn Laos to the winner's circle of the 2007 WSOP is a remarkable story of determination, luck, and faith. His tale encapsulates the power of poker to change lives and the enduring spirit of those who dare to dream. And to cap it all off, in a quote from Yang's autobiography, All In, From Refugee Camp to Poker Champ, he goes on to say, "My story is very unique. It's about surviving just to get to the United States and surviving at the poker tables. The title pretty much says it all because my family went all in just to get to the United States." The World Series of Poker officially kicks off tomorrow, the most important time of the year for anyone who is anyone in the high-stakes world of poker. And there have been some hugely significant wins throughout the years. But what are the most important wins in the World Series of Poker history? What are the wins that have truly mattered, and why? Let's get into the 7 biggest and most important wins in WSOP history. Starting off at number 7. Starting in 2008, when Peter Eastgate took over Phil Hellmuth's record for the youngest WSOP main event winner.
From unknown to unreal again at the World Series. Peter Eastgate, 22 years old, the youngest main event champion ever.
The winner of the main had consistently been in their 20s for 8 straight years. But this all changed in 2016 when Vietnamese poker player Quy Nguyen, who was 39 at the time, took down the tournament and its over $8 million prize. Nguyen won his seat at the 2016 main event through an $1,100 satellite that his family begged him to sell for the $10,000 entry fee, but he declined. And he was right too, because he went on to defeat Gordon Vayo in the 181st hand of Heads Up with his King 10 against Vayo's Jack 10 on a board of King 9-7, 2-3. One of the highlights of his time at the main was that with every pot that he won, his fans yelled out,
"He's having fun!"
And he proved that poker was not just a young man's game anymore. And here's number 6. You see, 2004 was the last year that Binion's Horseshoe would host the World Series. It was also the year that poker exploded after 2003, where Chris Moneymaker proved that poker was for everyone. Out of a crowded field of 2,576 players, it was Greg Raymer that would come out victorious. Known for his lizard eyes, hologram glasses, and protecting his cards with a fossil, he was nicknamed Fossil Man.
Well, it's easy to have a pronounced stare down when you can't blink.
And this nickname would be one that would stick and stand the test of time. Raymer led the final table the entire time for one of the most dominating performances in WSOP history. He would go on to defeat David Williams Heads Up to claim the massive $5 million prize.
Presto! It's hard to imagine. I can't imagine $5 million in my pocket.
Moving on to the 5th slot, we mentioned him briefly already, but Peter Eastgate truly changed the trajectory of the WSOP when he broke Phil Hellmuth's 19-year-old record as the youngest WSOP main event champion in 2008. But we're not here to talk about Eastgate, because just 1 year later, Joe Cada broke Eastgate's record, winning the main event at just 21 years old.
He's a kid with a dream come true, 21 years, 11 months, 21 days old.
Now, we've covered this historic final table that featured iconic players such as Phil Ivey and Darvin Moon in detail. But if you want to learn more about it, check out the full episode. The link is in the description. This was arguably the greatest final table in WSOP history, and it clearly would go on to make history with Cada's monumental win. Cada took home a very substantial $8.5 million for his work, beating out almost 6,500 players. cards. His winning hand was pocket nines, which he got all in pre-flop against Moon's queen-jack suited. The board ran 8-2-7, king-7, securing Kata the victory.
Youth has been served once again at the main event. Congratulations to Joe Kata, our 2009 main event champion.
Number 4. There's arguably no bigger personality in poker than that of Scotty Nguyen.
I used to get mad, jump on the table, and dance in the shit.
And there's also arguably no better quote than the quote from Nguyen at the 1998 World Series of Poker.
Your car gonna be all over, baby.
Nguyen said this to Kevin McBride during the final hand when there was a full house on the board with 8s full of 9s. McBride would go on to call Nguyen just playing the board.
I play the board.
And Nguyen flipped over Jack 9, giving himself an even bigger full house. But Scotty Nguyen warrants more attention than just this entry. So if you want to learn more about him, we've got a great video all about the poker legend. Check out the link in the description and let us know your favorite Scotty story in the comments. Alright, now we're in the top 3. You can't talk about significant WSOP victories without bringing up the incomparable Johnny Chan. Chan impressively won back-to-back WSOP main events in 1987 and 1988.
Last person ever won back-to-back of the World Series of Poker. That is a big deal.
He almost was able to make it a three-peat in 1989 when he went heads up against an up-and-coming player you might have heard of named Phil Hellmuth. But unfortunately, he came up short. Of Hellmuth's victory here, Mike Sexton would go on to say, "To be honest, it was just like Stewie," referring to Stu Unger, when Phil won his first tournament in 1980. No one gave him a chance either. It was his first time and no one thought this youngster would win. And that is just how they treated Phil. But Phil did not lack confidence, even at that young age. But back to Chan, he is still the last player in WSOP history to be able to win the tournament back-to-back, and he's currently tied with Doyle Brunson, Eric Seidel, and Phil Ivey for the second most WSOP bracelets with 10, behind only Phil Hellmuth himself with 17. In second place, it's someone everyone in the poker world knows of. We're talking about the kid, Stu Unger. And back in 1997, Unger was attempting his comeback after many years plagued by addiction. Backed by Billy Baxter,
I always felt like he could almost see through the cards. He was a savant.
Unger played remarkably in the 1997 WSOP main event, eventually making his way all the way to the final table, where the final heads-up battle saw him clinch his third WSOP victory when he made a straight on the river with ace-4.
Deuce. Stewie wins the tournament. Stu Unger has won 3 World Series of Poker.
After his victory, Unger was interviewed by Gabe Kaplan for ESPN, and he showed a picture of his daughter Stephanie to the camera, dedicating the win to her.
I said, Stephanie, I love you too much for you to disown me. I said, I'm going to win the tournament, and it's for you go on loving me. And I guaranteed a victory, and I proved myself worthy of it.
This has gone down as one of the most poignant and heartfelt moments in WSOP history, especially considering that Unger would pass away just a year later when he was found dead in his motel room due to a heart attack brought on by years of drug abuse. And finally, in the number 1 spot, you knew it was coming, especially on a channel called Poker Boom. But no list of important poker wins would be legitimate if it didn't cap off with Chris Moneymaker's win at the 2003 WSOP. Throughout his historic run, Moneymaker would knock out multiple poker legends, Johnny Chan, Phil Ivey, and Dan Harrington to name a few. His victory changed the trajectory of poker, proving that poker was a game for the masses and that fairy tales do come true.
4 years ago, Chris Moneymaker was a Tennessee accountant. Now he's a household name in the poker world after winning the main event at the World Series of Poker.
And since it's almost our 1-year anniversary on the channel, go back and check out our very first video all around Moneymaker and the rise of the poker boom. The link, as always, is in the description. Thanks for watching. This
2003 everyman Chris Moneymaker took out Ivey with ace-queen. Now, 6 years later, another everyman, Darvin Moon, is poised to take out Ivey with ace-queen again.
Is just one moment from the 2009 World Series of Poker main event final table. One moment of many amazing moments that all added up to one of the most exciting,
let's do it again,
and dramatic final tables in poker history.
The river card is a tray! Joe Kata doubles up!
Joe Kata with the call of his life, and Kata sits Darvin Moon back down.
But what made it such a memorable experience for poker aficionados and casual viewers alike? Let's get into it. In the vast and illustrious history of the World Series of Poker, one final table stands out as a true masterpiece, capturing the essence of poker's drama, skill, and unpredictability. The 2009 WSOP final table is often hailed as one of the best in the series history, and for good reason. Now, to understand the significance of the 2009 WSOP final table, we must first acknowledge the talented cast of characters who took their seats that day. At the forefront was Phil Ivey.
I never thought I would see a pro win this tournament again. So if Phil does it, he may be the best player of all time.
A living legend in the poker world with an unparalleled skill set and reputation that preceded him. Joining him were other formidable opponents, including Darvin Moon, Jeff Schulman, Eric Buckman, and Joe Cada, each bringing their own unique style and strategy to the table.
All in.
And it is time to get aggressive for Cada. All in with those fours.
This mix of seasoned professionals and relative newcomers added an extra layer of intrigue to what was to come. Now, one of the things that made the 2009 WSOP final table truly exceptional was the palpable drama that permeated the atmosphere. The clash of personalities, contrasting playing styles, and the weight of the moment created an electric environment that captivated everyone who watched. With millions of dollars on the line and the coveted WSOP bracelet within reach, the stakes were higher than ever, setting the stage for an unforgettable showdown. So let's talk about the winner. First and foremost, there should be unanimous agreement on one point. The winner of the 2009 main event, Joe Cada, commands admiration. At just 21 years old, he was the youngest winner in the history of the WSOP, taking that record away from Peter Eastgate just 1 year after his main event victory. Emerging as the last contender out of a staggering 6,494 entries, the third largest attendance in the history of live poker tournaments. But the true measure of his accomplishment lies in scrutinizing the intricate path he took to claim poker's richest and most esteemed prize. Before the final table unfurled, Joe Cada found himself on the fringes of consideration. The spotlight shone especially bright on poker legend Phil Ivey, and public sentiment considered Cada an unlikely contender. He was thought of as the ultimate underdog, but in the grand tradition of sports legends, Joe Cada orchestrated one of the most remarkable final table comebacks ever. He battled adversity. When reduced to a mere fraction of chips, he defied expectations, doubling up repeatedly.
And Phil Ivey needs an ace or an 8 to end Joe Cada's bid to become the youngest main event champ ever.
The river card is a 7. Joe Cada doubles up.
Until he reclaimed a competitive stance.
River card is a queen. Another double up for the 21-year-old who's over 23 million now, his high point of the night.
And of course, the hallmark of any sporting spectacle lies in its conclusion. Joe Cada's journey to victory encapsulated this essence, featuring a seesaw battle and a heads-up play with Darvin Moon. The final outcome remained uncertain until the very last card was dealt, at the culmination of 2 intensely protracted days. The final hand featured Cada being dealt pocket 9s, which he raised to $3 million. Moon looked down at Queen Jack of Diamonds and re-raised to $8 million. After looking back down at his hand and thinking for a few seconds, Cada made the bold move of going all in, to which Moon called.
Call. And Darvin makes the call with his suited Queen Jack.
Wow, Darvin plays by different rules, and he makes that all-in call for $64 million.
Going into the flop, it was a relative coin flip. The flop was 8-2-7, all black, not helping out Moon's hopes of a straight or a flush. The turn came up a king of hearts, again no help to Moon, even though the paint must have excited him. Finally, the river was a 7 of clubs, again no help to Moon and giving Cada the win.
Joe Cada rewrites poker history, becoming the youngest main event champ ever.
But let's expand our view and look at some of the other players at the table now. The mantle of the tragic hero fell upon Antoine Sailly from France. Starting with minimal chances, Sailly defied expectations, claiming the chip lead when only 3 players remained. However, a cruel twist of fate epitomized by a miraculous deuce for Cada denied Sailly the chance to become the first French poker champion.
Sorry, you deserved it. I'm sorry.
His stoic response to defeat added a poignant layer to the tournament's narrative.
If that deuce doesn't come, it's very possible you are the world champion. Has that sunk in yet?
It's a game, it's a poker.
And of course, you can't talk about the 2009 main event without discussing its runner-up, Darvin Moon.
We played cards in the cabin every night. We just rag on each other, tell each other, you're terrible. Get up the next morning and do it all over.
His unassuming approach, combined with a determination to savor the experience, challenged preconceptions. His resilience and his near victory defied critics who doubted his capabilities almost as much as they did Kata's. Spanning over 17 hours, the final table at the time was the second longest finale in history. This marathon of poker expertise celebrated both skill and, almost more importantly, endurance. In a feature on Poker News afterwards, their editorial staff all gave their opinions on why this particular main event was so awe-inspiring, saying, "The main event final table contained a fascinating mix of players. You have the young gun Joe Kata, who eventually wins, but you never saw that coming until the very end. Of course, all eyes were on Phil Ivey, the established professional, and arguably one of the best in the world. And then, out of nowhere, you've got Darvin Moon, the logger and guy everyone can relate to. Seeing Darvin win a huge hand against Phil Ivey, I think gave all of us hope." Another staffer said, "Darvin Moon, what a story that was. He didn't want the sponsor deal, which boggled my mind. He was just there, playing his favorite game, not much else. Could one of the way more experienced players beat him? In the end, Joe Kata did, but it was exciting to follow along with." And finally, a third just said, "The 2009 final table got my vote due to the amount of top-tier players on the final table." Now, Joe Kata's triumph not only catapulted him to superstardom, but also symbolized a changing of the guard in the poker world.
The mouth, again, speaks volumes for me.
The $8.5 million first place prize was not just a life-changing sum for Kata, but also a testament to the growing allure and financial rewards of professional poker.
I'd like to thank all my fans for coming out and supporting.
The 2009 WSOP final table didn't just deliver a thrilling spectacle. It left an indelible mark on the poker landscape. The combination of star power, of strategic brilliance, and of emotional highs and lows made it an instant classic, ensuring its place as one of the best WSOP final tables in history. This moment,
You know, we're in a hand. You need to shut the up.
Uh-oh. What did you say, Mike? Mike. What did you say, Mike? Did you say something?
is one of the most infamous and many would say entertaining moments in the history of the World Series of Poker. The feud between Mike Matusow and Matusow-Shakan is one for the ages. So now that we've had 19 years to take it in, let's get into the long-standing feud between these two poker giants.
Verbal antagonism, not uncommon in poker.
Hello.
The mouth raises it to an art
Hello,
form.
Shiki. Hello.
You know, the world of professional poker is rich with intense rivalries and dramatic showdowns, and few rivalries are as memorable as that between Matusow-Shakan and Mike Matusow. Both players are larger-than-life personalities with impressive poker resumes who just so happen to talk a lot too.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm they had a Gabe. E-I-E-I-O.
Please stop.
And their infamous clash at the 2005 World Series of Poker has become a legendary moment in the annals of poker history.
He's only playing for $7.5 million, and he slams the table and tells everybody what I have. Back to work.
But first, a little background. Matusow-Shakan, known as Shiki, is an Iranian-born poker player. He made a name for himself in the poker world with his aggressive style and fearless approach.
That was a bad play by the Sheik. It wasn't the first.
Shakan is known for his emotional and sometimes volatile demeanor at the table, which often translates into fiery interactions with other players.
We already had a fight about this, a fist fight.
We can have another one.
So therefore, I've had one fist fight in like...
And of course, we have to give ourselves a little plug. We did a deep dive on Matusow-Shakan a few months back, so if you want to check out that video, the link is in the description. We also did a video on the player on the other side of this conflict, Mr. Mike Matusow. It's one of the first videos we put up, so if you love Mike as much as we do, go check out that video. The link is in the description as well.
We're here live at the World Series of Poker. 27 players left. That's right, 27 players. Can we move in here? No. Can we breathe in here? No. But can we get chips in here? Yes.
Matusow, nicknamed The Mouth, is a player renowned for his outspokenness and his volatile temper. Matusow has a long and storied career in poker with multiple WSOP bracelets to his name. His personality, marked by dramatic swings in mood and play, has made him one of the most colorful characters in poker.
Poker,
poker, it's all skill. Start with the worst 10 and go uphill.
His battles with personal issues and his candidness about his struggles have only added to his complex persona. The 2005 WSOP was a pivotal event for both players. By this time, the WSOP had become a major televised spectacle, bringing poker into the mainstream and exposing millions of viewers to the high-stakes drama of the game. The main event, a no-limit Texas Hold'em tournament with a $10,000 buy-in, featured thousands of players competing for millions in prize money and the coveted WSOP bracelet. As the tournament progressed, tensions between Shakan and Matusow began to surface. Both players were known for their aggressive playing styles and their reputation to engage in verbal sparring at the table.
I wasn't going to take a 10. There was going to be a war in here if I got a 10 minute. Wow. Because I know I didn't throw my cards at no deal.
The combination of their personalities created a combustible atmosphere. Even before the two men were sat at the same table, Shakan had already made ways for his style of play and aggressiveness.
Yo, I object to that. Hold on, I object. Yo, you can't do that, lady.
Well, he could have been a little more polite about it. She is a lady.
Which leads us to the two men at the same table together. In their first and arguably most memorable confrontation, Matusow was chip leader in a hand against Michael Kessler. Action was on Sean Shakan, who was severely short-stacked at the time. As Sean was looking at his cards trying to make his decision, Matusow started singing. Shakan asked if Mike would call if he raised, to which Matusow responded sarcastically.
No, I'm just going to
Shakan would end up folding the hand, but he was far from out of the proceedings. The flop came out 9-8 ace, and Shakan immediately slammed his hand on the table. Something you're not supposed to do in the game, as it strongly suggests that you hit something on the board and gives information to the other players at the table. Shakan began talking to his friends behind the rail, telling them what he had, and then all hell broke loose.
You know, we're in a hand. You need to shut the up.
Uh-oh. Sean immediately began to challenge Matusow.
What did you say, Mike? Mike. What did you say, Mike?
Tournament officials had to come in, and Matusow and Shakan both pleaded their cases as to why the other was in the wrong. The official said he would have a decision after the hand was played.
We're going to play the remainder of this hand, and I'm going to explain to you what's going to happen here.
So we'll all have to wait for Jack Effel's decision.
And Matusow quickly scared away Kessler, securing the win. As soon as Kessler folded, Shakan and Matusow went at each other.
You idiot.
You cannot talk about a hand in between a hand. We're playing for a lot of money. You jumped off your chair like you threw away part of the pot.
Until tournament officials made the decision that they would each receive a 10-minute penalty. But if you think this is the end of the confrontation, you'd be wrong.
I want to bust you so bad.
But he folds.
I really do.
Come with it, Sonny boy.
Oh, don't worry. When I come with it, you'll be broke.
Because just a few hands later, Shakan found himself all in with ace-jack against Matusow, who had a king-queen.
Come see Daddy, Mikey.
The flop gave Shakan an ace in the window, and Matusow paired up on the turn, and then the river handed Shakan the win with a straight. A heartbreaker for Matusow, who was aching to take out his rival. Plus, he had to listen to Shakan call him a baby boy, a line that we're sure plays in Matusow's head when he tries to fall asleep at night.
You got what you asked for, baby boy. What happened there? You got what you deserve, sucker.
But all worked out in the end when Matusow did end up taking out Shakan, hitting a nut flush with his ace-queen suited.
This man, nuts!
The confrontation between these two men captured the general public. We're watching at home and were captivated by the raw emotion and the intensity of the moment. It highlighted the psychological warfare that often accompanies high-stakes poker, where mental toughness can be as important as the card skills. And the blow-up had lasting repercussions for both players. For Matusow, it was another episode in a career marked by emotional highs and lows. Despite the altercation, Matusow continued to have a successful poker career. He added more WSOP bracelets to his collection, and he remained a prominent figure in the poker community. Matusow has also been open about his struggles with substance abuse and mental health, using his platform to discuss these issues candidly and advocate for mental health awareness. Shakan, on the other hand, continued to be a formidable presence at the poker table, albeit much less so lately. While he never achieved the same level of fame as Matusow, he remained respected for his skill and feared for his aggressive play. Shakan's fiery personality and willingness to engage in verbal battles became a defining characteristic of his public image. image. But these days, he's more known for his 4-year prison sentence for operating an illegal cannabis dispensary than for anything he ever did at the poker table. At the end of the day, the rivalry between these two men is ingrained in poker fans' heads forever. Their clash at the 2005 WSOP remains one of the most memorable moments in poker history, illustrating the combustible mix of personality, of pressure, and of passion that the game can evoke. And in the world of poker, you couldn't ask for a better legacy than that. And that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Poker Boom. Are there other poker feuds you think that we should cover? Let us know in the comments, and we will see you in the next one.